to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hey everybody, you're now listening to the Narrative Podcast, and I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, positivity, and reciprocity. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome everybody new tuning in this evening, unfamiliar with me and the Narrative Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, this is a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. I give you new listeners a brief overview of my content before diving in this evening. But, I just want to touch bases and just chop it up before sliding on in to the content for this evening. So, it's hump day, Wednesday. We're over the hump, and tomorrow is the turkey day. Everybody's going to be doing, holiday meal prepping for the big day, as well as out here shopping for Christmas and online shopping, which is all right. I mean, I don't condone it. I don't support paganism and greeting card holidays, most of them. But it is a good time to connect with the family and people we haven't seen in quite a while. So if you get the opportunity to do that, do that. Pick your phone up for a loved one or a relative or inbox or something. Because we're not promised tomorrow and today counts. So who's going to be, doing the traditional parade and football games? But I'm just saying I don't want to crap in your cornflakes. This platform is the home for original people. And we don't do, indoctrination and celebrating things that really aren't traditionally meant for us. But, as a family unit, you do what you want to do. I'm going to brief you about what the Narrative Podcast is in a second. I just want to touch bases and, be a hospitable host and tap in with the people. Welcome Narrative Podcast family, or soon to be Narrative Podcast family if you're unfamiliar with the platform. So here we go. I'm going to give you a brief overview of my platform and my content. So let's start at the top, the tippy, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. I get to the original people part a little later. I'm just, lining it up correctly before transitioning into that part. But so essentially, what I want to do was design a platform to negate these negative stereotypes and negative stigmas that the media projects on our people and propagates about our people and our culture. So I want to just build a platform where I'm playing up our strengths, highlighting us at our best, and try to impact, empower, and uplift our people rather than, feed into what the media is trying to do which is vilify our people and, focus the lens on our people and our culture through degeneracy. And basically that's what they try to make our people, our culture look like, just low life and degenerate and, unsalvageable as a people. But, we're anything but that. So on my platform, I also talk about our true nature, our true origin. Narrative podcast is all positivity when it comes to our people and our culture. Basically to, to be the answer to this problem that the media created when it comes to our people and our culture, specifically how they depict us. They depict us in a negative light, and it's done intentionally. It's done primarily for profit, but also it's done to, as a form of psychological warfare. They want to program and condition our minds as a people to, view ourselves and feel inadequate about ourselves as a people. Because what they're trying to do, or what they are successfully doing, is desensitizing us to violence, degeneracy, and toxicity. And, we kind of normalize things that aren't normal within our culture. So that's the trap. They want us to view ourselves and treat each other less than what we are, which is kings and queens, gods and goddesses of this universe. So yeah, and not only that, they do that to market us to people outside of our culture. Also a form of psychological programming and conditioning. They want to basically scare the daylights out of people outside of our culture by keep on recycling and promoting these false images, these distorted, images of our likenesses and our characters, and program them in such a way they react and respond to us in a negative way. Not only that, they also, the media is ran by the powers that be, and the powers that be, they do that to everybody, because the agenda is to keep the higher echelon, aka wealthy white people, in power. And how do they do that? They promote propaganda. So that's what the media is, a big propaganda machine. They use it to, finance this country, finance wars and just all kinds of other evil, wicked, diabolical stuff. They do that to everybody, but they do that to our people the most because they fear our people the most. They know their history and they know our history. And their biggest fear is that when we wake up and snap out of this little trance they put us in, that they will do to them what they're currently doing to us and have done to us all throughout history. But it's an ill-gotten fear because that's not in our people's nature. But yeah, that's primarily why they do it. So the nature of my podcast is to uplift and edify our people. My mission statement, is positivity, education, enlightenment, and unity. That's what I'm trying to promote here on this platform. As a matter of fact, I think that's a perfect segue into my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy these negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Because people outside of our culture, all they're given to them is negative frames of reference about our people, our culture. So, my mission statement is to, stress how important it is to share, positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's, the ultimate takeaway I want you to get from my content. If nothing else, how important it is to, share positive content about our people and our culture. So that's why I call, my target listening audience my narrators, because we live in, the digital information age. We, share everything digitally now. That's how information is collected. That's how data is distributed. That's how businesses and corporations are ran. And that's basically now your content is your character. This is like, whatever you post online, that is a direct correlation of, you as a person, unfortunately. So why, there is positive things about the age we live in, having access to information at the touch of a button. It's also kind of a double-edged sword because, people judge you kind of harshly based on what you're posting online. Having said all that, this is how business is also done online, because I just broke down how the agenda, how evil, wicked, and diabolical the media is. But at the core of it, they're a business. And like all businesses, the first rule of business is supply and demand. So therefore, you create a demand for a product based on what, their statistical research shows them, their data shows them, and how these Fortune 5 companies collect their data is online. They seeing what people post. They see, what you're clicking on, and they create product for that based upon, the urgency that their data is showing. So their data is showing in terms of our people, it's showing that we enjoy degeneracy. That's just based on, their statistical research. This is why I stress it's important to share positive content on your digital platforms when it comes to our people and our culture. Because this is the primary reason why, we have such low grade television, movies, books, literature, and everything else, where our people's images and our people's images and likenesses are being shared. It's basically like, that's their wiggle room to exploit our people and our culture, to market us a certain way, because they just like looking at the figures, looking at their stats. So they create product to accommodate the degeneracy. They create product to accommodate gang culture, drug culture, pimp culture, whore culture, all these negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture. They create products to accommodate that. So this is how we flip it on them. We're in a unique position to tell or narrate. This is why I call my target audience, my narrators, our stories based on, what we're posting online. We can just flip the narrative by posting positive content, and, with the laws of supply and demand, they'll create product to accommodate that, because they'll see that we want to be, held in high regard, and, have our intelligence played up, having our sense of compassion, our sense of duty, honor, our moral codes played up. They'll create more product to accommodate that, to speak to that. It's not the end all be all solution, but it's a solution. And that's what I try to encourage here on the Narrator Podcast, is the important need to do that. What this podcast is not about, it's not about caring about, what people outside of our culture think about us, how they perceive us. It's not about seeking validation from them. This is about basically setting the record straight. If you're going to tell our story, then by golly, you're going to tell it correctly. So that's what the Narrator Podcast is all about. It's telling our story correctly, changing the narrative about how, our people is, perceived, and how our images and likenesses are being, circulated. Also, what I don't do here on the Narrator Podcast, I don't engage in gossip. I don't promote it, endorse it, stamp it, push it. I try to discourage against it, because I believe, I know for a fact it's gossip, which is destroying our community apart. Like I said, we've been programmed, conditioned by the media, and, the powers that be, they control the media. So, they want to control our minds and have us believing the only way we can turn a dollar, with this new technology, is to, use it to destroy each other, take pop shots, take cheap shots, talk bad about each other, spread lies, rumors, and, whatever, and just demoralize ourselves and demean ourselves, all in the name of a dollar. Make complete spectacles of ourselves just to, get a quick buck on the internet, get some views, get some clicks, spread some, air quotes, controversy, to upset the algorithm. But, we don't have to do that. We can post positive content and eat just fine. So that's what I'm striving to try to prove, that we don't have to play that game. We don't have to, be these negative stereotypes that the media tries to paint us out to be. So, some more misnomers about my podcast is it's time sensitive. Basically, when I first started this, I had no idea what I wanted to do, what type of content or subject matter that I want to touch on. So when I decided, I don't like how my people are being portrayed in the media. How can I get this message across? How can I, convey this sentiment that we need to, show the world who we really are as a people? Well, the answer came to me, and it was engagement. So the best way to engage people is to keep them captivated and keep them attentive. How do you keep people captivated and attentive? By shooting straight to the meat, saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and alleviating all the filler. So that's why I try to, you know, not exceed 1 hour when I'm broadcasting, because, you know, this is an all audio platform. And the last thing, you know, you want to do is drone on and on mindlessly and rant. So like, that's not my, you know, intention is just to be a glorified rant. I want people to, you know, really pick up on the message that I'm putting down. And I can't just like talk in circles and just talk and talk and talk. Like, I have to have a point. It has to be clear. It has to be concise. It has to be, you know, I have to make it resonate with my listening audience. And so that's why I try to make it, my broadcast, not to exceed 1 hour. And then also that frees me up to touch on multiple subjects without, you know, boring you to sleep. And if you're a, you know, avid listener of the Narrator podcast, you know, I try to break it up here and there, add some levity to break the monotony. And so while I don't gossip, I do poke a little fun, keep it fresh and keep it entertaining, you know, but I never ever, you know, spread rumors, gossip, take cheap shots at a brother or sister. Because last thing I don't want to be what I'm against, which is like dragging a brother or sister through the mud, slandering their name, or none of that. As a matter of fact, the only time that I bring up a famous person's name is to illustrate a point that I'm making. And all the points that I make here on the Narrator podcast is just to, you know, frame it up from the perspective of, okay, yes, we have this wrong in our community. We have our in-house issues. We need to work on this, that, and the third. So, you know, the perspective that I focus the lens on is like the why. Why are we doing this? What are the circumstances that caused this to happen? And so, like, if I say a famous person's name, whatever is trending on in the media about them, this is just an example of, you know, why these conditions exist. This is like, you know, the textbook example of the powers that be. This is like, okay, this person's going through that, but the overlying issue is something usually systemic. It's usually from the perspective of, you know, we was programmed and conditioned to do that. So while we are all grown adults, we can't blame, air quotes, the white man, the system. We have to take accountability. We can't turn a blind eye and not acknowledge the system, in air quotes again, the white man. So I try to have a unique balance of that, and really discourage against slander and gossip and all that. So just to reiterate, if I ever bring up a famous person's name, it's never to clout chase or, you know, bash them. It's just to illustrate a point. Now, I think I went over the time, all the other things about my podcast. I think the last thing is the original people part. We're at that part of it. So my podcast, I refer to our people as original people as often as possible. And in place of black, it's not that I have anything against being black. I love being black. I'm not ashamed of being black. But I feel, let me retract that. I know that, you know, the word original is more historically accurate to describe our people than black. Because like I said at the beginning of somewhere in the middle of the intro, you know, we were and are the original people of this planet who was here first. And we inhabited every single corner of the globe first. And we didn't get there, and contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get there on slave boats. It was already originally indigenously located on pretty much every single corner of the globe. So while slavery did happen, it was a real thing. It's just not true for all of us. Especially here in the Americas, the majority of us was already indigenously, originally there in the Americas. You know. Not only that it denotes, you know, the time frame and, you know, us being first, it also serves as, you know, a unification tool. It unifies us as a people because, like, people outside of our culture, they all lump us into one category anyway. While we do acknowledge and respect whatever we choose to identify ourselves as, whatever landmass that we hail from, because there's many different types of us scattered all throughout the globe. We all have, you know, different viewpoints, different, you know, religions, ideologies, just different. Anything you can think of to divide the people, it exists within our community. But the one thing, the common factor that binds us together as a people is the original point of origin. So we all have that in common. That's the one thing we have in common. We all can trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all humankind, for all inhabitants of this planet. We can all trace our lineage back there. I mean, everybody on the planet can, but when it comes to our people, original people, melanated people, we can all trace it back there, for sure. But I think I covered everything. So now I'm going to dive into the content. This is a live edition of my podcast. I usually broadcast full episodes on the weekend, every single weekend. My live broadcasts I just do during the weekday whenever I have some free time available. I never know what days I'm going to be available. So, but when I'm available, what I do here is provide positive frames of reference. So that's what the entire podcast is about anyway, is providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Why is it important to provide positive frames of reference? I reiterate, it's important because we're constantly being bombarded with negativity. We're constantly being shown scenarios where we're not winning, where we're, you know, living below or right at the poverty line, showing us incarcerated, showing us destitute, you know, disenfranchised, and just the most like bad, foul representations of our people that they can possibly muster 24/7 a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year. Like, it's just like, it's too much. It's too much, and it wreaks havoc on your psyche. I know everybody is like, well, you have to take accountability for yourself and learn how to look for the positive and, you know, see the glass as half full instead of empty. It's you as a person. And that's true to some respect, but the problem with that, especially here in America, when they give us, the glass, the proverbial air quotes glass to look at, they give us a filthy glass. The glass is so dirty, you don't even know that there's something in it. So, we got to try to level the playing field, and, I'm showing that there is excellence happening within our community. There is stories of us overcoming and triumphing in the face of adversity. There is, stories of us reaching back into the community, helping each other out, taking care of, our young people, taking care of our elderly people, just being a tribe, succeeding in life, conducting ourselves with decorum, with the sense of urgency, and being true to who we are, which is like kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. This is the types of frames of reference that we always need to keep in perspective when it comes to our people and our culture, and to not ever let them forget it, and then we will never forget it. And we'll see a decline on all this degeneracy, all this crime that happens in our community when we get more reminders of who we are as a people. Because that's, the media's job to, lead us down that path to forget who we are and act like who we aren't. We're taking on the nature of, something we're not, because they keep on feeding us and promoting it in front of our faces, trying to get us to normalize and accept, this perception of our people. But anyway, that's what the live edition is about. I'm just sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture via news articles that I find. So I'm reading just news articles that I came across during the week, and let you know somebody in our community is doing something positive. And then afterwards, I usually do commentary about something going on around the world. And the reason why I do commentary to again, put it in perspective from our perspective, because the media go out of their way to have us looking and sounding, 10 types of crazy. So, whatever's going on in the world, when I deliver my commentary, I'm breaking it down from our perspective. But this evening, I don't think I'm going to do any commentary. I'll probably save it for this weekend. So I might just skip the commentary altogether and just wrap it up and plug everything that I have going on. Because I got stuff to do this evening, just like you all got stuff to do this evening. So without any further ado, I'm going to dive right on into the content. So my first positive frame of reference this evening, the headline reads, Black Mom celebrates 16-year-old son set to graduate high school a whole year early. And the young brother's name is Daryl Bryant of Savannah, Georgia. He currently attends St. John Academy. He's set to graduate this December. So first of all, he has a perfect 4.0 grade point average. And he's always shown academic excellence in all grade levels. He wrote a book at age 11, and it was titled The Flower Nerd. And what that was, it was basically like a coping mechanism, because something happened to somebody in his grade level. Unfortunately, they took their life due to being bullied. And, you know, he wrote a book to, you know, tell about the dangers of it and just, you know, kind of shed a little light on that. He's quoted as saying he wants to create an image of himself. This is why he pushes himself to exceed so greatly in academics. He says he wants to create an image of himself to show others who he is. He wants to inspire others to do great things. And through his works, he can show them the great things that they can do. So, you know, basically he wants to lead by example. He don't want to just tell people do better, do better. He wants to show people that they can do better. That brother is definitely on the path to doing great things with his life. I watched the interview. When I came across the article, he is a very articulate, well-spoken young man, very modest, very meek, you know, nothing shy of an inspiration. He's got over 600 bands in scholarships. He got offers on the table from all the Ivy Leagues, Harvard, Yale, Brown. He also got an offer from the Savannah College of Art and Design. So, you know, he got all kinds of alternatives on the table. He can go in any direction he wants to. You know, he's all the way in the driver's seat. He's going to hit the ground running, whatever institution he decides to attend. So, without any further ado, join me into giving a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for our young brother, Daryl Bryant, and all his accomplishments. All right, up next on the Narrative Podcast. I'm just going to be super duper short tonight, guys. I just got two more. If you're an avid listener, you know I usually have, 4 to 6 articles and then about a 20-minute commentary. I don't believe I'm going to have a commentary this evening. But anyway, this is a super good one. Definitely worth talking about. This is the story of a former gang member. The article reads, the headline of the article reads, former gang member from LA now runs a multi-million-dollar organization with 125 employees. And the brother's name is Yusuf Wiley. He served 22 years for gang affiliation. He created, upon release from incarceration, he created a nonprofit organization called Timeless Group Incorporated. And to find out more about that organization, go to timelessgroup.org. I'll break it down slightly. Basically, it's a nonprofit organization. It's kind of like prison reform. They offer everything, so it's like help ex-felons transition back into, the air quotes real world. So it helps them get up on their feet, get housing, continue their education, get some type of skilled trade. They also have even grants for people to go all the way through their training in that program to start their own business. He actually started this program whilst he was incarcerated. So, and then just kind of built it up on the outside. As soon as he came home, he hit the Bay Area, like in the Oakland part of California, doing the work, being in the soil, talking about his experience, because he don't want other people to go down the same path he went down. Basically, his life story, he joined the gang at like 12. So he had been putting in work since 12 years old. It didn't say which gang, but the predominant gangs in California is Bloods and Crips. So he had to be one of those fractions. It didn't, like I said, the article didn't specify what gang he was. Not that that's really important, because he's transitioned into a whole nother chapter, but I kind of did want to know. To know more about that brother, go to YusufSpeaks.com, and that's YWSpeaks.com. So it's all like one word. So it's basically like his name. I just want you to want to tell you specific directions, so you don't like type in the wrong thing. So he wears a whole lot of hats. When you go to that website, you will see everything he's actively involved in. So he's like a public speaker. He does like TED Talks. He goes does all kind of speaking engagements, trying to give back to the community. He's also, on the cultural board. He's an Orthodox Muslim, so he advocates with that. He just like does all kinds of stuff in the community. Does all kinds of stuff for the liberation movement of our people. He helps with prison reform. So he's basically like he's solution based. He's not just identifying the problem. He's been, he's been on both sides of it. He's seen it from, on the inside. So he knows like what prisoners face, why they go down that road to begin with. And he knows the unjust laws and politics on like how to better yourself. So, he's a real force for the cause right now. And he definitely, it would behoove you to check out his story. And, if you're inspired to want to bring about change within your community, might reach out to him and talk to him, say, hey, what can I do? And he might enlighten you in that way. You can reach out to him directly at yusufwiley@gmail.org. And that's all I got for that, brother. Let's put our hands together, give a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for our brother Yusuf Wiley and the Time List Group Incorporated. All right, up next. Yeah, this is my last article of this evening. It was a lot in California. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's a positive revolution. I'm so glad that's happening, because it seems like when I usually do my articles, like most of them come from like the South or the East Coast. But yeah, I guess Cali was active in a positive way this week. I mean, there's positivity everywhere you look. You just gotta know where to look and find it to see the positivity. But yeah, like just Cali gets a real super bad rap for the negativity, for the drama, for the violence. But it's always refreshing to hear stories about positivity from that area, from that neck of the woods. But anyway, the headline reads, 21-year-old black woman makes history, opens homeless shelter in LA. And the sister's name is Miriam Hergotz. So I don't know if I mispronounced her name. So yeah, my apologies if I did. And she just now turned 21. So she's just now like becoming a full-grown adult. She wants to bring about change in her community. She wants to be selfless and give back. She can, like at 21, that's your green light at that age, just to be focused to the point where you're teetering on being self-absorbed. But not this young lady. She wanted to give back to her community. She sees a whole lot of homelessness and people disenfranchised and living in strife. So she wanted to do something about it. Her, other friends her age, and some local entrepreneurs, they put together something. They acquired an old abandoned homeless shelter and turned it into a project called PACE. And PACE stands for Project Advocating Kinship. If you want to know more about PACE, go to thepac.org, and you can follow the sister on IG at OKMiri. So basically, with the PACE project, they're going to provide food, of course, educational programs, things to get them back on their feet, such as like job training, teaching them how to fill out applications, provide them counseling, because being homeless, like a whole lot of them have mental health issues, so they're going to get counseling and give them everything they need to be proficient in society. Now, she helps everybody, that particular organization helps everybody in need of their services, but the primary focus is on our people. The article said the build is not ready yet for right now. They're just giving away food at Skid Row in that area. So if you're familiar with the terrain of Los Angeles, wherever Skid Row's at, that's where they're at, giving away food, giving away toiletries and anything that can help out to, try to help the homeless people out. That's a good, noble cause, really good, unselfish, and not just, it just helps humanity. That's the flex of all flexes, when you can help somebody that can't do anything for themselves, let alone you. So that's the ultimate flex, and like making the time to do that. And another good thing about this article is people often wonder how they can make a change. She's 21 years old. She just did it. She stepped out on faith. She didn't have crazy buku money. She got online, got to looking up stuff like, how do I acquire the resources? How do you do the nonprofit? So like, if you really want to do something, we're living in a digital information age. Like you can do it. Don't just be talking about the problem, be the solution. And that's kind of word to me. Like that message kind of shakes my foundation a little bit. But we're living in the digital information age. We just gotta utilize this, internet for positive things instead of always spreading the negativity and the slander and the gossip and the rumors and the lies and the, just this dysfunctional filth that we do. But anyway, join me in giving this young sister a warm narrative podcast round of applause for, her selfless contribution to society with her PACE, or PAC project. I'm saying PACE. Project Advocating for Kinship is PAC. I keep on saying PACE. So I'm going to run it back one more time if you want to find out more about, her organization, how you can help out. If you live in the LA area, go to thepac.org. And that'll do it. So let's put our hands together, give our sister Miriam Hergott and the PAC program a warm narrative podcast round of applause. So like I said, I usually when I'm done with my last news article, I usually go into commentary. I don't feel there's nothing really super poignant right now that I need to discuss around the world or within our community. And the very few things that I do feel is worthy to discuss, I'm kind of just, I'm monitoring it to see, new developments in the story before, I deliver my, assessment of the situation. So I'm just waiting for the stories to unfold a little bit more, the ones that I'm interested about. But everything is it's just meh out there right now. So there's no recent current events to discuss tonight. So everybody enjoy your holidays, your festivities if you celebrate Thanksgiving, or whatever you do around this time. Thanks you for listening this evening with me on the Narrator podcast. I'll be joining you this weekend with a full episode. So, join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator podcast. Just remember to download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast wherever you get your podcast information from. Also, I have written a book titled The Black Card. The Black Card is available on poetizer.com. They have a virtual bookstore on poetizer.com. So when you go there, click on bookstore and you should see my title. It's titled The Black Card. The Black Card basically is a comprehensive look about our people. All the experiences we go through, everything, positive and negative, all the nuances of our culture, nicely chronicled in 30 poems, very, very creative, witty, and inventive. You will love it. It's a good travel. It's a good read. It'll make a great coffee table read, travel book. Do yourself a favor. Go get that. Once again, it's called The Black Card. It's available on poetizer.com. Go get it right now for the holidays. Snatch you up a copy. Purchase the Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. So like I said, I'm big into poetry right now. I got my own personal poetry blog on blogger.com. And the name of my personal poetry blog is called hallziespoetrycorner. And the address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And my tagline is poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. The type of poetry featured on that blog is just spontaneous poems that I've written in the moment. I don't, think about the things I write. I just write. It's just all kinetic, just the first thing that pops into my mind. And when you're reading some of them, how intricate they are, you would think that I wrote it down first, but nope. It just came to me in the moment, title and all. And actually I do my title after I'm done with the poem. So I don't think about nothing. Probably the only thing I think about after they're finished is probably the meta tags. But other than that, I don't, it's just all just off the top. So you definitely, when you go there, you will find a poem that you can relate to. And the best way to help me, with that blog is to share the link to the blog or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. Whatever platform that you're active on, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, WordPress, LinkedIn, whatever you're active on, share either the link or a poem featured on it that you like from Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. And then, of course, you can like it. You can also, even if you have a Gmail account, sign in with your Gmail account. When you get to the website and there's a comment section in each one of the poems, you can write me a little note for the one that you may have liked. And I get like that, but the best way to help me is just to share the link or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. So that'll do that. And if you're not too busy, shoot me a line if you want to chop it up. Where you can reach me at is passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. So one last little bit. So like I said, I broadcast on the weekend, every single weekend without fail. I do these random lives just whenever I get a chance during the weekday to do them. So the best way not to miss me when I'm live here on this platform is to follow me either on YouTube or Twitter, or now X, formerly Twitter, because this platform that I'm on broadcast directly to YouTube and Twitter. So follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen. Click your subscription button and notification all, and you'll always be notified every time I'm doing a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. Or follow me on X or Twitter, whichever one you prefer to say. And you will be notified when I'm broadcasting live for the Narrative Podcast, because like I said, this platform that I'm on broadcasts directly to YouTube and Twitter whenever I'm live. But I think I covered all my subjects. Thanks for listening tonight. Looking forward to you joining me this weekend for a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm inviting you to, become a narrator and help me with my cause by changing the narrative one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.